What happens when the man who once gave her everything suddenly gives her nothing? No calls, no texts, no explanations, no attempts to fix what she broke, just silence, stillness, absence. At first, she brushes it off, thinks it's a phase. She tells herself you'll come back, like you always did, but then time passes and nothing comes. That's when panic sets in. That's when the quiet starts screaming, because your energy was her lifeline, even if she never said it out loud. She wasn't addicted to your love. She was addicted to your presence, your consistency, the way you showed up over and over, no matter how many times she tested your patience. You were the emotional engine of the connection, the stability, the gravity. And now, that gravity's gone. She's floating in her own confusion, trying to make sense of a silence she never expected. She didn't realize how much you anchored her until you pulled back, and now she's unraveling. No contact isn't a punishment. It's protection. It's not about playing games. It's about ending the ones she was playing. You stopped over-explaining. You stopped chasing someone who only appreciated your energy when it was convenient. And by stepping back, you created the one thing she can't manipulate: distance. Distance makes her question herself, makes her face her reflection without your reassurance, makes her feel that loss, not just of a man, but of your energy. That steady flow she never thought would stop. This is where you begin again, not with her, but with you. Because the man who pulls back his energy isn't weak. He's dangerous, focused, ascending, and once you've tasted that clarity, you'll never beg again. If you've stopped explaining yourself, if you've learned that silence speaks louder than words, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and comment below. I protect my energy at all costs. Now, let's begin. Number 1, she could feel your energy. Now she feels the void. She didn't need to hear your voice to feel your presence. She could sense it in the way you showed up, consistently, fully, without hesitation. The energy you brought into her life was constant. You were the emotional stabilizer, the one who cared when she pulled away, the one who listened when she lashed out. Even in silence, your presence filled the room. That kind of energy doesn't go unnoticed. It becomes a comfort, a certainty, a quiet addiction. But now, that energy is gone. You didn't send a warning. You didn't make a dramatic exit. You just stopped. And now there's a void. A silence that doesn't comfort. It confronts. She wakes up and you're not in her inbox. She posts and you're not watching. She waits and nothing comes. And the more nothing she gets, the more everything unravels inside her. That's the real power of pulling back. It reveals what your presence truly meant when it's no longer there. Energy doesn't lie. You were giving. She was consuming. And when you finally decided to cut the flow, she didn't just lose a man. She lost the stability that kept her emotionally grounded. Now she's anxious. She's overthinking. She's looking for signals in silence. Because deep down she feels it. Something shifted, and she can't reverse it. And this time, you're not using words to prove your value. You're letting absence speak for you. She didn't realize how much your energy carried her until she had to stand on her own. Number 2, you stopped explaining yourself. She lost her grip. You used to explain everything, every emotion, every shift in your tone, every silence she misinterpreted. You tried to make her feel safe, understood, reassured, even when she didn't deserve it. You gave her access to your inner world because you thought transparency built trust. But what it really built was entitlement. She began to believe your emotional labor was a guarantee, that no matter what she did, you'd always be there to explain, to soothe, to fix. But now you've stopped. No more justifying your silence. No more decoding your boundaries. No more offering clarity to someone who never offered it back. You stopped handing over explanations, and with that, you took back control. Because when you stop explaining, you stop giving her a sense of emotional dominance. You stop making her feel like she's still pulling the strings. And now, she's spiraling, wondering what you're thinking, why you're distant, why the man who once laid himself bare now gives her nothing. This is the beauty of the no-contact strategy. It flips the dynamic. It forces her to face uncertainty, to sit in the same confusion she once made you feel. And here's the thing, she's not used to that. She's used to control, to leverage, to always having the upper hand. Your silence isn't cruelty, it's clarity. You're done over-explaining yourself to someone who made you feel like you were always the problem. Now your stillness speaks volumes, and for the first time, she has no idea how to respond, because the only language she ever respected was power, and you just learned how to speak it fluently. Number 3, no contact isn't revenge, it's recovery. Let her think you're being cold. Let her call it immature, manipulative, whatever helps her sleep at night. Because the truth is, no contact isn't about her at all. It's about you. It's not revenge. It's recovery. It's a clean break from the cycle you kept spinning in. The over-giving, the emotional labor, the constant second-guessing. You weren't walking away to hurt her. You were walking away to stop hurting yourself. No contact is the moment you choose self-respect over obsession. When you stop making excuses for her inconsistency. When you stop needing closure from someone who never gave you clarity in the first place. It's when you stop breaking your own peace to keep someone else comfortable. Because let's be honest, she wasn't thinking about your healing when she played with your loyalty. She wasn't worried about your mental state when she sent mixed signals, pulled back, then reeled you in. So why should you burn yourself again just to prove you care? This is the shift. You're no longer fighting for someone who made love feel like a competition. You're not sitting by the phone hoping she reaches out. You're reclaiming your mind, your time, your focus. And here's the part she won't understand until it's too late. Your silence isn't spite. It's survival. It's peace. You're not trying to make her miss you. You're just done bleeding for someone who watched you suffer. That's not revenge. That's healing. That's how you rebuild. Quietly, without apology, without permission. Number 4, your detachment is driving her obsession. Here's the paradox most people never understand. The moment you stop needing them, they start needing you. That's not a theory, that's psychology. Your detachment has flipped the script. The same woman who once felt confident, secure, even bored by your consistency, is now chasing ghosts, because she can feel that shift, that emotional disconnection. That cold, calm silence where your energy used to live. You didn't slam the door. You didn't send a dramatic goodbye. You just let go. No explanation. No fight. You pulled back everything. Your attention, your emotions, your investment. And that vacuum. It's messing with her head. The human brain hates uncertainty, and now she has no idea where she stands with you. You were always predictable, present, grounded. Now you're unpredictable, distant, unavailable. And that's exactly what's driving her crazy. This is where dark psychology meets emotional discipline. The less she sees of you, the more space her mind fills with what-ifs. She's rewinding every conversation, overanalyzing the silence, wondering who you're with, what you're thinking, if you've moved on. You've stopped feeding her ego, and now she's starving for validation. But it's too late. The energy she took for granted has been cut off at the source. You didn't do this to hurt her. You did this to heal. And yet, ironically, your peace is what's making her restless. Your silence is louder than your love ever was. Because when a man detaches, not out of anger, but out of clarity, that's when obsession begins. Number 5. She doesn't miss you. She misses control. She might text you. She might like a photo, send a hey out of nowhere, or ask a mutual friend how you've been. And if you're not grounded, you'll start thinking she finally woke up, that maybe she misses you, that maybe she realized what she lost. But let's get something clear. She doesn't miss you. She misses the control she used to have over you. She misses knowing you'd always reply, that you'd always be there, that no matter how cold she got, how distant she acted, you'd still try. You'd still chase. You'd still explain yourself. Now that you're not doing any of that, her ego is starving, because when you pulled back your energy, you didn't just create distance, You exposed how much of her identity was built on your emotional availability. This is deeper than romance. This is about power. She used to control the rhythm, when to engage, when to ignore, when to pull you in, when to push you away. And now, nothing she does works. Your silence is steady. Your boundaries are firm. You're not reacting. And without your reactions, her sense of control crumbles. Let her think she misses you. Let her wonder why it doesn't feel the same anymore. Because what she's actually feeling is withdrawal, loss of influence, the fading power of someone who once dictated your emotions and now has no access. That's not love. That's ego panic. And your detachment has shattered the illusion. She doesn't miss who you were. She misses what you gave. But that version of you, the one she could push and pull at will, doesn't live here anymore. Number 6. Attention was her drug. You went cold turkey. She didn't need your love in words. She got high off your attention. It was her fix. The good morning texts, the double replies, the way you always showed up, even when she disappeared. Your presence made her feel wanted, powerful, in control. That wasn't love for her. That was dopamine. And now that it's gone, she's crashing hard. You went cold turkey, no easing out, no breadcrumbs, no soft goodbyes. One day, you just stopped feeding her the energy she used to depend on, and she didn't realize how addicted she was until the supply dried up. Because it wasn't the relationship she craved. It was the validation, the emotional hit she got every time you proved you still cared, still hoped, still hurt. That kind of attention is intoxicating when it's constant, and paralyzing when it's gone. This is what happens when you stop giving someone emotional luxury without making them earn it. Now she's stuck refreshing her notifications, scrolling through your page, wondering why the man who used to orbit around her has suddenly disappeared into his own universe. It's withdrawal, and she's shaking. Because the attention she fed off of, it's not coming back. And the most powerful part, you didn't announce it. You didn't declare no contact. You just changed the pattern, quietly, decisively, permanently. She doesn't know how to handle the silence, because without your attention, she's no longer the center of anything, not your thoughts, not your day, not your life. And that realization, it cuts deeper than any breakup ever could. Number 7. Stillness is louder than begging. She expected a scene, a meltdown, a storm. Something to let her know she still had emotional power over you. That's how it usually goes. Conflict, chaos, then someone crawling back. But you didn't give her that. You didn't chase, you didn't argue, you didn't post to get her attention. You gave her something much harder to deal with: stillness. Stillness isn't indifference, it's mastery. It's what happens when a man has nothing left to prove, when he's done defending his worth, done repeating himself, done hoping someone will finally see his value. You've become still not because you're empty, but because you're full of clarity, full of peace, full of the realization that your energy is too expensive for someone who treats it like spare change. And now that you're still, the silence is doing the talking. She's hearing everything you're not saying. Every minute you don't reach out, she's wondering what you're thinking. Every day you don't fold, she's questioning if she made a mistake. You're not posting cryptic messages or dropping hints. You're just gone, quiet, controlled, unreachable. That's what shakes her. The man who once bled for her is now calm, cold, focused. And that stillness, that unbothered energy, it's louder than any words, any arguments, any desperate plea. You didn't explode, you disappeared. And in that silence, she has to face what she lost. You didn't beg. You didn't break. You just stopped. And that quiet, steady power, that's what she'll never forget. Number 8. You're rebuilding. She's rewinding. While she's stuck trying to rewind the past, replaying old texts and second-guessing every decision, you're rebuilding. Quietly, ruthlessly, with intention. She's digging through the ruins, trying to understand when things shifted. But you're already laying bricks for a future she doesn't belong in. That's the beauty of detachment. It clears the mental space to construct something real, something better, something that doesn't include her. She's replaying conversations, wondering what she could have done differently, waiting for a sign that you're still emotionally stuck like she is. But you're not. You're in the gym, you're at work, you're building habits, sharpening your mind, reconnecting with the version of yourself she distracted you from. Because when a man goes no contact, he doesn't just cut off communication, he upgrades. He reinvests the energy he used to waste on her into himself. And the growth? It's exponential. This is the psychological reversal most people never see coming. While she's spiraling in memories, you're detaching from them. While she's hoping you'll come back, you're realizing you never needed her to begin with. And that shift, that silent, powerful shift, it separates boys from men, victims from leaders, the broken from the rebuilt. You're not bitter, you're just unavailable. Not emotionally cold, but emotionally disciplined. That's what she never expected. She thought you'd always linger. Instead, you evolved. And now she's stuck replaying a story that's already over while you're writing a new one, with no place for her in the next chapter. Number 9. Silence is a mirror. She's facing herself. Your silence isn't just absence, it's a mirror. And now, without your voice to drown out the truth, she's forced to sit with herself. No distractions, no emotional safety net, just the weight of her own actions echoing back at her. That's what no contact really does. It strips away the noise and makes people confront what they've been running from. And, in her case, it's guilt, doubt, regret. When you were there, she never had to think about the damage. You absorbed it, you rationalized it, you explained it away. But now that you're gone, the excuses don't work. She can't gaslight silence. She can't argue with distance. And for the first time, she's starting to realize, maybe she wasn't the prize, maybe you were, maybe she pushed away the very thing she thought would always stay. That's the power of emotional withdrawal. It doesn't just starve the connection, it exposes who was really doing the work to keep it alive. And now, with every day that goes by and you don't reach out, she's forced to look inward, to see where she messed up, to feel the weight of what she broke. And the longer you stay silent, the clearer it becomes. You were never the weak one. You were the one holding it all together. No words, no performance, just distance. And in that distance, she's not seeing you. She's seeing herself, maybe for the first time. And it's not a pretty reflection. Number 10. You didn't lose her. You found you. At first, it felt like a loss, like something was ripped out of you, like you were left with nothing but silence and empty space. But now you see it clearly. You didn't lose her. You lost the illusion, the fantasy, the part of you that believed love had to come with pain, confusion, and compromise. What you actually found was you, the version of yourself that doesn't beg, doesn't chase, doesn't fold for people who treat loyalty like an option. This was never about her. It was always about you waking up, about realizing that your energy, your love, your presence, that's the prize. And when you started treating it like one, everything changed. You stopped chasing people who made you feel like you weren't enough. You stopped explaining your worth. You stopped dimming your light just to keep someone else comfortable in the dark. And now, you've built something solid, not just around you, but inside you. Discipline, direction, calm. You've become emotionally bulletproof, not because you don't feel, but because you've learned to feel without folding. That version of you who used to lose sleep over her silence. He's dead, buried, and in his place stands a man she can't reach anymore, even if she tried. That's the real plot twist. She thought she walked away from you, but in the end, you were the one who walked away from who you used to be, and there's no coming back from that. If you've made it this far, then deep down, you already know. You're not the same man you were when this all started. The one who begged, the one who explained himself to someone who wasn't listening, the one who stayed loyal to chaos, hoping it would finally turn into peace. That version of you died in the silence, and something stronger took its place. You stopped chasing. You stopped pouring your energy into black holes. You stopped handing out emotional access to someone who used it like a weapon. And in that stillness, in that space where her voice used to echo, you heard your own again. And this time, you listened. No contact isn't a trick, it's a turning point. It's the moment you stopped being emotionally owned and started becoming emotionally unreachable. You didn't go silent to hurt her, you went silent to heal you. And whether she regrets it or not, that's no longer your concern. You're not sitting around waiting to be chosen. You've already chosen yourself. You're not here to prove your worth anymore. You are your proof. Every representative, every early morning, every boundary, every time you chose discipline over weakness, silence over reaction, and peace over chaos. You built a life no one else gets to control, especially not her. So if you've pulled back your energy, if you've chosen silence over noise, clarity over confusion, and strength over scarcity, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and drop a comment below. I found myself in the silence. This is Stoic Blessing. This is the rebirth. Keep your power, guard your peace, stay sharp, and let them feel what they chose to lose.